here's what you need to know about the week's top stories. 1. 47 months, the sentence for Paul Manafort, President Trump's former campaign chairman, struck many as lenient, compared with the 19 to 24 years recommended under sentencing guidelines. Mr. Manafort, above in 2017, had perpetrated a decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud scheme, but Judge T.S. Ellis said he lived an otherwise blameless life. This week, a judge in federal court in Washington will sentence Mr. Manafort on 2 conspiracy charges, which carry a maximum penalty of 5 years each. Michael Flynn, Mr. Trump's former national security advisor, will also be sentenced this week. And Michael Cohen, the president's former fixer and personal lawyer, sued the Trump Organization for refusing to pay him $1.9 million in legal costs. We also obtained 6 checks from Mr. Trump to Mr. Cohen that show how the president tried to prevent alleged sexual misconduct from going public. Have you been keeping up with the headlines? Test your knowledge with our news quiz. And here's the front page of our Sunday paper, the Sunday Review from Opinion and our crossword puzzles. ______. 2. House Democrats tried to put to rest an uproar over Representative Ilhan Omar's remarks, seen by some as anti-Semitic, with a bill condemning hate. The scandal overshadowed the passing of a comprehensive reform bill, dismantling voting barriers, limiting money in politics and imposing stricter ethics rules on federal officials. Above, Ms. Omar at a news conference for the reform bill with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In last week's Will They or Won't They 2020 developments, John Hickenlooper, a 2-time Colorado governor, is running for president. Former Vice President Joe Biden is 95% sure he is, too. The leading Democratic candidates have largely broken with consensus-driven politics and embraced progressive ideas. Here's what that means for moderates. Check our candidate tracker for updates on the crowded presidential field, _______. 3. The southern border is experiencing a humanitarian catastrophe, according to Kirstjen Nielsen, the Homeland Security Secretary. She urged Congress to support the president's border wall, although it was not clear how that would solve the humanitarian crisis. Her testimony came as the number of migrants crossing the border without authorization reached an 11-year high in February. Above, migrants in Panitas, Texas, turning themselves into Border Patrol agents in February. And now, new data shows that 245 children have been newly removed from their families since a federal judge ordered the government to halt routine separations. The Senate is poised to overturn the president's national emergency declaration this week. The only question, how big the Senate margin will be, _______. 4. Happy Bullversary. It's been 10 years since the bull market began. But most aren't celebrating the more than $30 trillion in wealth generated since then. We wrote about how the psychological and financial damage inflicted by the 2008 financial crisis continues to weigh heavily. The caution around stocks could last for decades. On the jobs front, the economy produced a mere 20,000 jobs in February. It was the smallest gain in well over a year, but there were encouraging signs in the data as well. Separately, a Chinese official has suggested a trade compromise with the United States that could make a pact easier to reach. But he did not answer a question about whether President Trump and President Xi Jinping might meet in Florida this month to seal a trade deal. ______. 5. In news from around the world, North Korea is adding to its weapons arsenal and nuclear infrastructure, which President Trump publicly acknowledged after longtime warnings from intelligence officials. Satellite imagery taken Friday showed that the Sohae satellite launch site was being rebuilt. North Korea had begun dismantling the site after talks between Kim Jong-un, the country's leader, and Mr. Trump last summer, but the progress is now in doubt. Above, the 2 leaders in Hanoi, Vietnam, last month. We also wrote about how the Philippines is grappling with the growing presence of the Islamic State in its southern region, where weak policing and dense forests offer a haven for insurgents. ________.